Here I'm just going sanding down the beams, making sure they're good when I go to do the stain. Now we're going to go ahead and do a redo of the top of the drawers, or the top of the dresser. So this time when I'm making the top, sanded it down flat. I found boards that were kind of already pre-stripped, so they were already pretty square. And then I just made sure that they fit really well. Drilled the pocket holes to attach the top. This time I'm going to add pressure to make sure they're flat, and also clamp them together while I'm drilling the pocket holes, and then I'll keep the pressure on while everything's drying, or the glue's drying, and while I clamp or drill the rest of the screws in. And we'll see if this helps keep it nice and flat, keeps it from bowing. I'm drilling pocket holes in the frame all around. I'm going to do a bunch. Also going to drill some holes from underneath the frame, so not just pocket holes, but I'll drill some other ones. Just gonna get as many attachment points as I can for the top. Just make sure it's strong enough, because usually when you move things around, you grab it by the top. I don't want the top ripping off or breaking the frame, so make sure it's attached as securely as possible to that. Now we're gonna cut. I made the top purposefully way oversized, so I can get on there, see exactly how we want it to look, and then I'm gonna cut it down to size. So right now I'm gonna cut it the right size. I'm going to make the back flush, and the front's going to stick out a little bit more than the other beams, and the edges are going to stick out a little bit more, just to well, mostly just to hide any imperfections in how it sits in the frame, and maybe it looks cooler, I don't know, but mostly just to hide whatever good or bad job I did. Usually start off with like 80, then I'll go to 120, 150, 220. 220 is usually where I feel pretty good about using a stain. Usually gets a good coverage. It doesn't suck up too much of the stain. I also usually condition the wood first to get a good even spread of the stain. So I'll condition, stain it once, and then depending on how dark I want it to be, and then I'll usually do 3 to 4 coats of sealer. Now we have lots and lots of painting to do. There's lots of drawers. We're going to, well, mostly my wife's going to. She likes painting more than me, so she's going to do it. And she's going to prime everything and then paint this aqua teal color around inside and outside of all the drawers, and paint the fronts white. It should look pretty good. Now we're going to go through and stain and seal the top. Actually going to condition the wood, like I said before. Condition the wood, and then we'll stain it, do 1 coat of stain. I think that'll give us a good color, and then we'll go through and seal it. I usually do like 3 coats of sealer, and then I'll get a nice fine sandpaper and sand down any bubbles or any imperfections, and then do one last coat that's in kind of a sweeping motion, so not you won't see any brush strokes. It should be a nice nice clean finish. It'll be kind of like one stroke all the way across, and that usually turns out pretty well. Now we're going to cut the back of the dresser. I wanted to keep that open for as long as possible so I can get to adjusting or tweaking any things a lot easier. But now that I think I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and attach the back. Unfortunately, there's no video of me attaching the back, but it's pretty straightforward. Just cut a bunch of squares and used a nail gun and attached it on. Now some of the stain leaked through the tape, so we're going to go ahead and touch up some of the paint, but it's pretty quick. Now the drawers are all painted, and they are ready to go. They look pretty good. We're going to go ahead and install the knobs last so we can make sure they're all lined up good. If I were to measure them all and drill holes before I install them, they would not line up, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to make sure they do at the end when they're installed. Now we're going to install the knobs. I'm going to do the first one, and then basically all the other ones are going to go off of that one. So this first one is going to go, and then I'm going to put all the top ones at the same level in the middle as that first one, and then all the ones below each of those are going to be lined in. I'm going to use a bob, hang it down, and that will be the center, and I'll just measure the center from top to bottom, and I'll put the knobs there. The knob screws were also a little too long, so I'm going to go ahead and cut all those down to the right size so they don't stab or tear all of our clothes every time we try to put them in and out. So the dresser is all done. The knobs are in. Everything looks really good. Looks lined up. For the most part, there's some issues with some of the drawers being a little, or one of the drawers in particular being a little cockeyed. I'm not sure what happened there. I'll have to mess with the rails. It's a little twisted for some reason, and it didn't look like that when I had it before the paint, so we'll figure that out. A couple of the other drawers, like I thought might happen, the paint is scraping up against the rails, and so when I go to push them in or pull them out, the paint is getting caught in the rails, so I gotta probably take those off and sand off some of the paint so that they can glide freely again. But other than that, most of the drawers were really well already, don't need anything, and pretty happy with how it turned out. Painting took a long time. I probably should have helped more. That would have gone faster. Sorry. But overall, it looks really good. It was a fun project to do for sure, and we'll see if I do anything else like this.